If you've ever wanted to quilt feathers but don't know where to start, I'm going to show you 5 ways to quilt them on a long arm. Hi, I'm Jenna and I love feathers. I'm going to show you 5 different ways that you can sew feathers, and we're going to start with the very basic first steps for feathers and then go to something more fun, whimsical, and the last one is my favorite type of feather. So whether you've sewn feathers before or you're brand new, there is something here for you. For our first feather, we're starting with the most basic feather just to learn the anatomy of one. Every feather has a spine, whether it be a curved spine or a straight spine. You just choose what you want. For our basic feather, you're gonna start with a straight line down the center. And I love using a ruler for that to get it perfectly straight. I drew my line and now I'm gonna start, and I'm either gonna start on the left or the right. This just depends on the direction you want your feathers to go. If you want your feather plumes to go this way, then I recommend starting on the right. If you want them to go the other way, start on the left. I prefer to start on the right. To make your plume, you are going to go around and down. So you're kind of curving up a little bit, back around and back down. Then to create your next one, there's a couple of things you can do. You can go back up and around like that and keep doing that. Or you can travel up, go back, backtrack, go down, travel up, backtrack, go down. Or you can do your travel up, go all the way down, travel back up, go all the way down, travel back up, go all the way down, travel back up, go all the way down. Then when we go back down, I can go back the opposite direction. Going back down the opposite direction takes different muscle movements, so it just takes a little bit longer to get consistent stitches. So if you wanted, you can start on the same side for both, or you can attempt to travel up one way and go back down the opposite way. Now let's sew it. We started by making our straight line across. My straight line is not very straight. I should have put on my ruler foot. Anytime you sew using a ruler, I recommend putting on a ruler foot and a ruler base. But just for this example, we did the best we could for a straight line. Then when sewing feathers, I highly recommend using an open toe foot. A basic foot, a ruler foot, and the open toe foot are all in the 3-piece hopping foot set from Grace Company, and I'll make sure to link that down below. But those are the 3 main feet that I recommend to everybody. I just like an open toe foot because you can see your stitches a lot easier, especially when you're backtracking on your feathers. So let's start. My feather, I'm gonna move in this direction from left to right. I'm gonna go out, hit my line, back in. Then I can travel up. I'm gonna go out to the line, bounce back, and then once I hit the top of this feather, I can either backtrack on top of the previous feather or I can backtrack over the curve. I prefer to backtrack over the curve, and then from here I can go around and make my next feather. I'll travel up the spine, around, curve. Once I touch the top of that other feather, I'm gonna go back up and keep doing this process. The thing about feathers, literally nobody ever is good at feathers because it's all muscle memory. So you have to practice and practice and practice and practice in order to build that muscle memory. Backtracking over the top of the feathers is difficult because you're trying to go right on top of your previous stitches. If you go off a little bit, that is okay. I recommend using a thread that matches your background fabric or whatever fabric that you're doing the feathers on, because those little mistakes are not going to be noticeable when the thread and the fabric are the same color. And lucky for you, Grace has come out with a new line of fabric, Finesse Supreme Quilt Cotton Solids, and each of the fabric colors match the thread colors in the Finesse Classic Solid Thread line. And I love using both of them together to make my feathers look even better. Now let me show you what the feather looks like if I am doing a different kind of backtracking. So I'm making my feather, I'm coming up, I'll make my other feather, I'll backtrack back down. I find that this method of backtracking, where you complete the full feather and then come back up, it's a little bit harder to get your backtracking to look good because you're traveling over the same stitches for a longer period of time. It also builds up bulk on the spine, so your stitching, especially the spine, really shows, and sometimes you just don't want that in your quilt. Once you've gotten to the end of your design, you're just gonna backtrack the opposite direction. When you're doing feathers, make sure to go slow until you can build up that muscle memory, especially doing this straight feather. Then you can go a little faster once the motion becomes more natural. For feather number 2, we are stepping it up with a curvy spine. And I'm gonna be honest, I never do a straight spine. I always love a curvy spine because it looks so fun. So you're gonna start by doing a wide up, down. And just like with the straight feather, I like to mark on either side of my spine where I want my design to end, so then I can make sure my feathers fill up the entire space. So I've marked my top and bottom, and now we can go ahead and fill it with feathers. You wanna make sure that your feathers move in the direction of the spine. So the first one, I am going to come up and down. I'll backtrack up. And right here, I want to make sure that it's curving this way, up, down. And I'm trying to fill up this entire space. Some feathers may be bigger than others, and that is okay. Whenever you get to the dip of a spine, sometimes the feathers, if I just kept going up like this, it would fill up this entire space and there would be no room to move the feather in this direction. So I like to do little feathers. So I'm gonna come up here. I'll do a little guy, come up, little guy, just to fill up that space. Then I can do a big feather right next to it, and it just fills up the space a little bit better. Then when I come the opposite direction, I can fill up this space with the feather right here. If I did a giant feather like this, do you see right here I have no space to move? That is no bueno. So I'm gonna do a little feather just to fill in that area, this little space right here, and then I can come and do a bigger feather to fill in this area. And then I still have a little space right here, and that's okay. And that's when I come and do this feather to fill up that. Then when you're going around the little areas, you just want to make sure to do little tiny feathers. Now we have feathers that fill up the entire space. Let's quilt it out and see how it feels a little bit different than drawing it. I'm gonna start by drawing my spine, and then I'll mark where I want my feather to end. About right there. Right here, I'm just gonna start with a half a feather to fill in this design, and then I can travel back up. I'll travel up, do a big feather, travel back, and right here, maybe I'll do a little feather to fill in this space, back up, then I can do my big feather to fill in that space. Right here, you can see I don't have a lot of space to move all the way up without taking up a lot of that spine of that feather. So I'm just gonna do a little feather to fill in that space. I'll come back up, and then I'll do a bigger feather to fill it in. Then when going back the opposite direction, I'll just do the same thing. Oh no! You guys, I'm so glad I made this mistake, because when you're going in the opposite direction, your muscle movement is used to curving one way and now has to curve the opposite direction. You can see it right here. I curved the feather in the wrong direction. I just did one long curve instead of curving it in then back out to create that feather design. We're gonna keep going because that's okay. If you make a mistake right here, this mistake I don't need to pick out. It'll just be a fun little character design flaw. Now on the big screen, you can see my feathers fill up the entire space, and you can kind of see this little flawed feather, but if I did a whole border of this, you would never notice that this feather is going in the wrong direction. That's okay, just keep going. Now that you know the anatomy of a feather and practicing it on a straight spine and a curvy spine, we can add a little bit more whimsy to it. Our next feather is going to be a fun curved feather, and I love this because it does add a whole lot of whimsy. And it's very similar motions. You're going to go up and around just like you would a feather, except instead of doing that kind of S wavy curve back down to the spine, you are going to just bounce back and echo that curve. So here we go. I'm going to go up, I'm going to curve it in, I'll bounce back, and then down to my spine. And you can see right there, the way I bounced back, I have to travel back on my spine a lot more. So if you want, you can do your inside curve first by just doing a little guy, and then you can bounce back, echo. I wanna touch the last curve that I just did, and then I can go and finish off at that design. So I'm gonna do a little tiny one, bounce back, touch that curve, go up, and back down. And when I'm going around this part of the curve, I'll do a little curl, back up, back around. fill up the space up here, back around. And when I go the opposite direction, I notice that in order to backtrack less, I want to do my big curve first and then do my smaller curve. And with a curved spine, these little curly Q feathers look so fun. In general with feathers, I love doing them on a curvy, wavy spine a lot more than a straight spine because the curvy spine is a lot more forgiving. If you make a mistake on the straight spine, then you can see the difference in sizes of feathers, or that the next one isn't as big as the last one. But on the curvy spine, it hides all of your inconsistencies a lot better. Our fourth feather is doing a echo feather. So we're gonna do the basic feather design and then do an echo inside of it. And I absolutely love the way this one looks. So I'll go to my basic feather, then I'll come in and I'll do a little mini feather inside of it. I'll come up, I'll do my basic feather. And when doing this design, you will have to backtrack a little bit more, but that's okay. And I'll do my echo inside of it. Because this design does have a lot of backtracking, you could technically do the little feather first and then the bigger feather. And let me just show you kind of what that would look like. Here's my little feather, and I'll come around to my bigger feather. The one thing about doing it this way is if you do the little feather first, sometimes it's harder to figure out where your big feather is going to go. And again, this just takes practice and building up that muscle memory. And sometimes you may do the little feather first, and then you notice as you backtrack, if you want to backtrack less, then maybe the next feather you have to do the bigger feather first. For example, right here, I could keep going all the way down and then do the little feather, or I could just do the big feather. These feathers are so much fun and they're so forgiving just because there's so much stitching that if you accidentally mess up on the inside of a feather or the outside of a feather, you're not going to notice it because there's just so much fun stitching to look at. And whether you like the more backtracking method or the less backtracking method of doing these echo feathers, I recommend being consistent with what method you use so that that muscle memory builds and it builds faster. And my fifth and final feather is my favorite feather. This is a whimsical feather that combines all three feather designs. So your basic, your curved, and your echo feathers. And you're just switching up what feather to do based off vibes. And I'll give you some tips and tricks for figuring out what to do next, but this one, I just love it. So I like to start it out with just your basic feather. Do my curved. Then my next feather up, maybe I want to do a curled feather. Then my next feather, I'll do an echo feather. And you can repeat those same feathers in that step, or you can have a little bit more fun with it. So sometimes I'll do your basic feather, and then instead of doing an echo feather inside of it, I'll do a little curly Q feather. A lot of the times, if I have a little tiny space that I need to fill, I like to just do a basic feather. And then I can go back up and do something more fun. When you do this fun feather that combines all of these different techniques, you can really just do whatever feels right to fill the space. If you accidentally mess up, nobody but you is gonna know that you messed up because the whole feather just looks like fun, whimsical designs that are not in a specific order. And for this feather design, I am still not great at it going back and forth. I find that my feathers look better going from one direction. And so I'll just keep going in this one direction. Right here, I can see I need a little spot to fill because if I try to fill this entire thing, it will take up too much room. And so maybe just because I did a curl and a echo feather, I'll do a little feather. I'll bounce back. And then there's a little space right here, but I want to kind of fill this in more. So maybe doing a curl with a big feather around it, so a curl in the middle of a feather, that would fill up that space well. So I'll come up, do a curl. I'll come back around and fill that up. Then maybe a regular feather, then an echo. And with this feather, because there's so much going on, I know I made some mistakes in there, but I can't see any, and it looks just so fun and cute. If you're looking at my quilting and thinking, wow, I can never do that. I want you to know that yes, you can. Before filming this video, I spent a couple of hours practicing. So I want you to look at this first feather design. One, I did not use a thread that matched my backing perfectly, and it's a lot more noticeable than this design right here, where my thread matches perfectly. That's why I say match your thread to whatever fabric you're doing your feather on. And then this one, I backtracked so much and had trouble staying on the spine. Same for this straight spine. My feathers are not consistent. I was really bad at backtracking on my stitches. But as you go through this panel and you see all of the practicing and all of the stitches, like look how thick that spine is. Oh my goodness. You can see that I get better and better the more I do it. So being good at feathers doesn't just happen in an instant. It happens with tons and tons of practice. So I recommend making yourself a quilt sandwich and just filling it with as many feathers as possible so that you get that muscle memory down. I hope you feel a little bit more confident now, and try out feathers. If you have any more tips and tricks, make sure to put them down in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe for more quilting content. We put out content for beginners, intermediate, advanced quilters. We have stuff for everyone. And I'll see you next time.
If you enjoyed that, check out more videos from Grace Company on our support channel, our Quilters Playground channel, and right here.